My husband, Charlie, and I own a nursery in Burnie. Plants, that is, not young children. And we have 2 large commercial greenhouses and a lot of outside area where we do some growing and for display. In the warm weather particularly, we have to water every single day. Some of the watering gets done automatically. We have a system that delivers water directly into each container, and the rest of it we water by hand with a hose. Well, one particular warm day in the afternoon, I was trying to get finished with my watering in the big greenhouse because I had a doctor's appointment. This particular doctor came to Burnie once a month, which made it so convenient for me that I didn't want to miss it. So I figured I'd better hurry up and then run back home, which is next door, and get ready and go to my appointment. And I'm dragging the hose along with me, and I'm watering in the greenhouse, and I'm coming toward the back of it. And this thing is 96 feet long. I mean, it's a big thing. And at one point, I pushed some vines out of the way. And just at that moment, I heard a noise. And you know how your brain processes so quickly, but your muscles don't move? Well, I thought, oh boy, I've just dislodged a hanging basket. It's going to fall down and make a mess. Well, something did fall, but it wasn't a hanging basket. And it fell on my head, and it went down here and down to my ankle, and I didn't know what happened to me. It happened so fast. I looked down, and there was a big old possum glaring at me with his beady eyes and baring his teeth. And I didn't know what to do. I apparently had disturbed Mr. Possum up there on a pipe during his afternoon nap. Well, I'm not a screamer, but I stood there and I said, oh, oh, oh. And at that point, the possum decided I was not a threat to him. So he turned tail and went down to the end and found the hole that he originally had come in through. I finished my water, trembling. And I went home and I plopped down on the chair and I said to Charlie, a possum just fell on my head. And he said, what? A possum just fell on my head. He couldn't imagine how it happened. So I went on into the shower, and as the warm water came down, I realized that on his way down, Mr. Possum had scratched my head as well as my ankle. Okay, got to my appointment, and when my turn came, I told the doctor and the nurse what had happened to me. And I said, I need a tetanus shot, don't I? When they finally finished laughing, they said, yes, you do, but since this isn't our regular office, we can't give you one, and we suggest you go to the urgent care on Main Street, which I did. Once I got there, I filled out the forms, and I could tell that the receptionist was trying really hard not to laugh when she checked them. Same thing with the doctor's assistant. And the doctor finally walked in, and he sat down and he leaned his chair back, and he said, well, tell me what happened. And I did. He said, now this is the first time I'm ever going to have to treat a possum mauling. But I got my shot. Fortunately, I didn't have any lasting effects from the scare, the scratch, or the shock. But I told everybody what had happened to me. I told them on the phone, I told them in person, I just, whenever and wherever I could, and I milked it for all it was worth. A few days later, I decided to call my sister-in-law who lives somewhere else to tell her about my unusual experience. And we chatted for a minute or two, and here I am ready to launch my story. She said, wait, before you tell me what you called me about, I have to tell you something really weird. My friend Amanda was at her niece's graduation in Kansas, and it was outdoors under the trees, and suddenly a possum fell on her head. And it's all true.